Hunt continues for driver of van in Barcelona attack. A 22-year-old Moroccan national is at the center of the Spanish police's search for the driver of the van used in the Barcelona attack. Yunus Abu Ayoub is understood to be the chief suspect for the attack on Las Ramblas that killed at least 13 and injured more than 130. According to the Spanish newspaper El País, police in Catalonia said they were searching for the man, who is thought to be a key member of a 12-strong jihadist cell responsible for the attacks. On Friday it emerged that another suspect, Moussa Kabir, who is thought to have rented the van, was among 5 men shot dead as they launched a second attack in the coastal town of Cambrils. The teenager, said to be 17 or 18 years old, is suspected of using his brother's documents to hire the vehicle that plowed through pedestrians in the Barcelona tourist hotspot on Thursday evening. From gas blast to carnage in Las Ramblas, the attacks that shook Spain. Read more. He reportedly died along with Said Allah, 19, and Mohammed Haikami, 24, who were part of a group that mounted a similar attack in Cambrils that left 1 woman dead and 6 people injured. The identities of the other 2 dead jihadists are yet to be confirmed by police. 4 men, aged 21, 27, 28 and 34, who were arrested in connection with the attack, remain in custody. 3 are Moroccan and 1 is Spanish. Police said none of them were previously known to the security services for terror-related reasons. Moussa Kabir's older brother, Drissou Kabir, is reported to be one of those detained. Several of those suspected of involvement in the attacks are thought to come from Ripoll, an inland town of 10,000 people about 60 miles, 100 kilometers, northwest of Barcelona. Police on Friday searched the apartment of the town's imam, neighbors said. An apparent search warrant seen by the Associated Press authorized police to extract any terrorism-related weapons, ammunition, explosives, instruments, documents or papers found in the apartment. Despite fears that Abu Ayoub is still at large, Spain on Saturday decided to maintain its terrorist threat alert at level 4, the second highest level, declaring that no new attacks were imminent. The Interior Minister, Juan Ignacio Zoido, said the country would nevertheless reinforce security for events that draw large crowds and popular tourist sites. We are going to redirect our efforts and will adapt these to every place or area that needs special protection, Zoido told a news conference, adding that Spanish authorities considered the cell behind the attacks had been fully dismantled. About 34 nationalities were among almost 130 people wounded in the attacks in Las Ramblas and in Cambrils, which lies around 70 miles, 110 kilometers, to the southwest. 13 of the 14 victims have been identified, although not all have been named. 5 were Spanish, 3 were German, 2 were Italian, with 1 from the United States, Belgium and Portugal respectively. Authorities said 54 people injured in the attacks were still in hospital on Friday night, with 12 in a critical condition and 25 in a serious condition. Relatives of a 7-year-old who became separated from his mother during the Barcelona attack are continuing to appeal for information. The father and grandmother of Julian Alessandro Cadman are traveling to Spain from Australia as the wait for news continues, family member Debbie Cadman said. Speaking after the family's initial plea for help, the Prime Minister, Theresa May, said the child with dual British nationality was believed to be among those unaccounted for. 4 Australians were injured in the attack, the country's Foreign Minister, Julie Bishop, said. Canada's Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, said 1 Canadian was killed and 4 injured during the attacks. Police have revealed that the terrorists behind the rampage were preparing bigger attacks, with an explosion on Wednesday at a house in Alcana believed to have robbed the killers of materials to use in larger-scale operations. Reports from Spain had earlier suggested the terror cell may have been planning an attack using gas canisters. Police are also looking for a white Renault Kangoo vehicle which is believed to have been rented by the suspects and could have crossed the border into France, according to French media. The attacks in Barcelona and Cambrils took place around 8 hours apart on Thursday afternoon and in the early hours of Friday. In an echo of the London Bridge attack in June, Catalonia President Carles Puigdemont said the 5 terrorists in the Cambrils car were wearing fake suicide belts when they were stopped. Police revealed that an axe and knives were also found in the vehicle, with one of the latter used to wound 1 person in the face before the terrorists were gunned down. Ben Wallace, The UK Security Minister said the terror threat to Britain was rising as Islamic State loses battles and territory in Syria and Iraq. He told BBC Radio 4's Today programme, "I think the threat is still increasing, partly driven by the fact ISIS is collapsing in Syria and people are either unable to get out there to fight for ISIS and so they look to do something at home, or also because people have come back and tried to inspire people with their stories and tales of the caliphate. I think those two things mean that the threat is to some extent increasing." Wallace rejected suggestions that the government's voluntary anti-radicalization program, Prevent, could be made compulsory. Simon Cole, the police lead for Prevent, had recently said that a debate was needed about introducing an element of compulsion for certain groups, such as returnees from Syria. Meanwhile, police in Finland have said a stabbing in the city of Turku on Friday was being investigated as murder with possible terrorist intent.